What is going on to you Scorpios out there? So look, you Scorpios, you have the Four of Wands, the Judgment, and the Queen of Swords right here. I see that a lot of you Scorpios do want a relationship, family even, but a lot of you Scorpios also know that a lot of people are out here essentially trying to fleece anyone that they can. So a lot of you Scorpios have kind of put family and relationships kind of on a back burner. The reason why is because of the Judgment, right? The Judgment and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands represents said relationship and family that you want, but the Judgment represents putting an end to that to a certain extent. Still wanting it, still trying to work towards it, but I just see that a lot of you Scorpios, your perception about, like I said, relationships have very much so changed. Like you Scorpios, you're very street smart. A lot of you Scorpios are very much so aware of what's going on. And one of the things that you Scorpios are aware of, right? This is why it is that you are represented by the Queen of Swords. You Scorpios are very much so aware of what's going on. And what I mean when I say that, I'm talking about from the perspective of, you know that people say things like they love you just so that they can get you to drop your guard, so that they can begin to disrespect you and treat you like trash. So I see a lot of you Scorpios really kind of being a little bit skeptical, especially out here, because a lot of you Scorpios are looking at it like you need to be on your P's and Q's. By the way, there's a link in the comment section called a Linktree link. Click on it. It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways to financially support the channel, so I can most definitely keep the show going. I just want to go ahead and say thank you. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that's reached out. You know, like it is that I've said before, if there was no you, there would be no me. I've said this a million times. Please sure to smash that like button so that this video can get up in the algorithm, okay? So we could definitely do some more works, you know. And like it is that I said before, the bigger I get, the bigger this channel gets. The more revenue I pull in is the more that I'll actually be able to give back. So it's not like I'm just hoarding the money. The Four of Cups and the Moon is about how it is that, so going back to what it is that I was saying about how you Scorpios are, you're keeping your head on the swivel and that you're very street smart. A lot of you Scorpios very much so are aware that, like, the relationships, like, it's, and this is something that I want you Scorpios to know. Maybe some of you may not know it. The more you Scorpios strive to be better and you're seeing results from what you want, I want you Scorpios to understand that more oftentimes than not, it's not you. It's not you. The reason why it is, and I'm saying that, is because people put so much of an emphasis on what you're not doing for them. But in actuality, that's not really what it is. What it really is you Scorpios are too good. And they are afraid, right? People who end up having this mentality are afraid that you will leave them. So they have to disrespect you. They have to play mind games. They have to reject you before you reject them. But it's stupid, because you Scorpios are not necessarily rejecting them per se. This is just the delusion that, or the cognitive dissonance that they have up in their head, that you Scorpios would reject them. You know, it's like so many times people will talk about how it is, you know, I shouldn't cuss, I shouldn't say certain things. And then like when, you know what I mean? When I talk to people, and then they be talking about, oh, well, you're disrespectful or whatnot. And it's like they just keep moving the goalposts. It's like at some point they're gonna have to admit that it's them, because you Scorpios keep stepping your game up. You're doing better, and here they are. Here you know, as you're dating people, this is what the Four of Cups represents. As you Scorpios are talking to other people and you're socializing, it's not like you're isolating yourself. You Scorpios are seeing that a lot of people come up with stupid stuff to complain about. Oh, you Scorpio shoes aren't on point. Okay, so you go ahead and you get yourself a pair of fresh new Jordans. Now it's, dunk lows, which I'm about to get the dunk lows. Don't steal my sneaker. I want to wear them. But, just to see. I ain't have them when I was a kid, so I want them now, But, so you went out and get yourself some Uptowns or Air Force Ones, right? In New York, we call them Uptowns. Then they making fun of your shirt. Okay, so you get a fly shirt, right? You get a couple of them. Then they making fun of the fact that you don't have a watch. Then you know what I'm saying? And it's like, no matter what. So now you dripped out, you dripping, and you got money in the bank. What would they say? Oh, you too tall, you too short, you too dark skinned. Like, it's always going to be something. This is what I'm trying to get the zodiac signs to understand. When you interact with people who do, I almost said it. When you interact with people who do stuff like this, don't get yourself caught up with that. Don't take it personally, right? This is something that I myself am getting better at as well, because when you're taking it personally, that's when it is that people are going to have an issue with you. So the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups over here represents how a lot of you, you're going to have people that will always be interested in you, Scorpios. The only situation for you, Scorpios, is that you have to understand that some people are going to be more afraid. This is New York, son. Where's the fire? Anyway, you'll always have people that'll be attractive. That'll be attracted to you, and that can actually just tell you that, and they're not afraid of you. And then you'll have people that'll be afraid of you. But the vast majority of people are afraid of you. They're afraid to be in relationships. They are afraid to interact. They're afraid to kind of interact with the person first. They're afraid to do that stuff. And the reason why I can say that so confidently is because I can say that. I can go anywhere with this. But the reason why it is that they are afraid is because they don't want to get rejected. Nobody wants to, let's face it, nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected. And some people can get over it. Some people can even learn to love it, like myself. I don't care if I'm rejected. I don't even care if I'm rejected disrespectfully. As long as the person doesn't go too far, I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, what am I getting rejected? Who am I? What is the quality that I'm getting rejected from? I'm getting rejected from a person who says that I'm not attractive, but then when, especially if they're in the public eye, enough time goes by, you hear how it is. You hear stories about them, and it's like, and I end up getting the last laugh, because I'm like, I'm glad I didn't get into that. I'm glad I didn't get into that relationship. Person turned me down like I was trash, but who are they actually attracted to? And it's the same thing for you, Scorpios, right? The Page of Pentacles represents that same thing, and this is what I mean when I say be authentic. Just shoot from the hip, so to speak. Shoot from the hip, meaning that just be authentic, Scorpio. Just do what it is that you see fit, and stop worrying about if somebody is interested in you. And I really do have to make that video talking about what people say that they're interested in, because I really do have to make that video. Because when people say that they're interested in stuff like this, it's like, really? Because at the end of the day, most people are so inconsistent, and they move the goalposts as to the stuff that they say that they want versus the things that they get themselves into. Like, a person will tell you the truth when they say that they want this, that, and the third, but then they'll go hang out with somebody who's dysfunctional. And then now it's like, okay, well, why are these people dysfunctional? Why are they saying one thing, doing another? Because they're afraid of getting what it is that they're getting, because they're dysfunctional. So they thought, okay, if I just throw stuff out there at the wall, it'll be so impossible that what I'm asking for is impossible. That's the catch-22. That's how they're looking at it. They're looking at it like, the stuff that I'm saying is impossible. And that's the point. Because I'm not trying to actually be in a functional relationship, because I can't handle the rejection of a person who's truly on top of their game. Big scale, smaller scale, rich, middle class, whatever, average Joe, average Jane, whatever the situation is, rejecting me based upon their level of character. They can't handle that. And let you Scorpios be smooth. Let you Scorpios actually like care about the person and capable. Oh my gosh. I said this off camera. Let you Scorpios be capable people. Let y'all actually care about them and have something going for yourself without having to be disrespectful or a jerk. And and capable? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. People gonna have an issue dating you because it's too scared. Too scared. They're gonna be too scared, Scorpio. You too much for them. The Two of Cups and the Two of Wands is about how. So just make sure that the people that you. Just make sure not to get offended when people decide that you're not for them. It has a lot of times. It probably doesn't even have anything to do with you. It doesn't. You probably just too much for them, and you're just too much for them. You really can be too much for somebody. So let's clarify the Two of Cups. I don't want this to get too long. Eight of Cups, High Priestess, Ten of Pentacles, Justice. Wow. And then you have the Five of Swords. So to clarify the Ten of Cups, so the Eight of Cups and the High Priestess are about how it is that, once again, you're too much for some people. Sometimes people will reject you because you're too much for them. Don't worry about it. The High Priestess, you just know that even though they're rejecting you, some people will reject you because you're putting yourself out there. And some of you Scorpios are finding out that you're getting rejected a little bit. Don't take it personally. You're rejecting a lot of people too based upon their character. So it's fair, right? But just know that when you get rejected, probably more oftentimes than not, you're getting rejected because you're too much for them. And the High Priestess represents, they still secretly admire you though. The Ten of Pentacles and the Justice is about how the Ten of Pentacles represents the value that you bring to the table. So the Justice is, let those individuals that already know that you're too much for them do their own thing. Don't try to figure it too much out, because they're just self-loathing at this point. You go off, love yourself enough to talk to brand new people, get to know other people. And then you have the Five of Swords. The people that reject you, a lot of it's more oftentimes than not, it's not anything that you're doing. It's just that you Scorpios are too much for them, and they know that you wouldn't be rocking with them.